Good morning. I think we'll call together the Kane County Ad Hoc Opioid Settlement Fund Committee meeting for Thursday, March 7th. It is now 10:01 a.m. Can we do roll call, please?
Hayne,
Present.
Mosser,
Present.
Russell,
He is en route. Just got a text from him.
Strathman. Present. Isaacson.
Present.
You have an in-person quorum.
All right, wonderful. And no remote attendance requests. Can I get a motion to approve? And we didn't have a quorum last month, so we have both November 13th, 2023 and February 1st, 2024 minutes to approve.
I would move.
For unanimous consent to approve the minutes from November and February.
I would move.
Great. All right. No edits. All right, good. Well,
Shoot, we have two attorneys.
Scumps, I didn't see you sneak in over here. Go. I don't think there's anybody signed up for public comment. Okay. And perhaps we have special guests with us. So if it's okay, I'll rearrange the order and we can move straight to the resolution so that Judge Downs can get back to her business. So let's move to approving use of opioid settlement funds for treatment of drug court participants. This is something that's been brought forward. We do have a bit of background information that's included in the packet. There may potentially be a change in the way we do the resolution, but maybe let's just start with kind of the overview of the request, and I'll turn it over to Executive Director Ost.
And if you guys wouldn't mind, is it prudent for me to make a motion to adopt the new amended resolution?
Yeah.
At this point?
I guess I didn't even
go
do
to
a
the
motion
next-
for discussion, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion to adopt this, the new resolution.
So
that's right.
let's do the original motion and so if somebody wants to motion, do a second, we can open it for discussion. Then you can move to amend and we can do a second on that. And Jamie says she wants to be a second already.
We've got it all lined out. We're good to go.
Okay, I'll move.
I second that motion.
Michael, if you want to open it for discussion.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm just thinking, do we need clarification on what the change is, or does
We-
it loop into the discussion?
We will, if you want to go ahead and start, and then we can make the motion to amend. If you want to explain the changes that you're looking to make, or if the sheriff would like to do it, that's fine too.
So thank you very much for letting us come back this morning. When I was here last time, I presented a resolution in order to receive a transfer of funds to the drug court special fund in order to continue to facilitate treatment. Since that month has passed, I have had many discussions with our problem-solving court judge and others, and we would like to change the resolution to include all of the problem-solving courts, not just the drug court. And that is largely because the settlement agreement on the original opioid lawsuit does state that it could be open to any treatment court that does any kind of treatment with an opioid addicted person. And so I don't want to limit the participation. I want to open up to to facilitate, a continual support of the courts. I took off the one-time transfer of funds and instead left it open-ended, but to ensure a quality control or a check on the kinds of things that we're paying for, that I would come back to this committee on a periodic basis to have the invoices reimbursed. So they would be initially paid out of my budget, just so I can continue to ensure timely payment of the invoices. And then once we, periodically, I would bring them forward to this committee, of course, redacted, because I've got federal standards. I can't reveal names and things like that, but I will do my initial quality review and then bring it to this committee for reimbursement so that we can continue to facilitate treatment for these opioid addicted individuals.
So with the new resolution, if you want a motion to substitute the new resolution for the old one, that's fine. It just needs a second. Then there can be a discussion, quick roll call vote, and then that can be taken care of.
Hayne motions to amend the.
Not the resolution.
Yeah, that right there.
Seconds.
I'm not good at this board stuff.
Can we get a roll call on that?
Just say any discussion.
Any discussion?
We should sit here.
Now go ahead.
Now we can do a roll call. I knew there was no discussion.
Kane,
Hayne, yes.
Mosser,
Also, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Isaacson. It's amended.
It says.
the other side of the.
That was a fun committee. a fun
Yes.
committee. It says, yeah.
This
Okay,
is my
so-
favorite committee now.
Yes.
All right, so just so everybody knows, you're now back to the substantive discussion. So you can do that until such time you decide to call for a roll call vote.
Great. I would like to turn it back over to Court Services.
Awesome, thank you. So this morning I brought up our very honored guest. This morning I brought one of our primary problem-solving court judges. This is Judge Downs. She has the drug court, the veterans court, and the mental health court. So I will toss it over to her and see if she would like to say a few things to the committee.
I wasn't expecting that. Anyway, I am Judge Downs and I have been in 3 of our 4 specialty courts since December. It's a great honor that I have been given this position. Judge Castellani did an excellent job of onboarding me. We just received our feedback from the AOIC on our drug court review, and it was all positive. Every single thing on there was positive, with them complimenting us on the steps that Judge Castellani took and the chief judges took in order to allow me to not show up on the first day, having never met the participants. I believe I met every participant that wasn't on warrant status before I took over. So we, of course, are willing to accept all help, and I appreciate Lisa's work on this and all of our funding, and any resources that we can have to help these people, we will take. Any assistance we have from this fund allows us to use other money for other funds and from other funds to assist people who aren't necessarily covered by this. So I appreciate you letting me come to visit today, and I appreciate your dedication to our specialty courts. So thanks for having me.
Wonderful.
And I also want to introduce at the end, this is Ray Andrews. She is our drug court coordinator. And she does a fantastic job. She does a lot of the assessments on people before they enter the court, and tries to coordinate treatment for them, and does a lot of the really heavy lifting on trying to figure out what kinds of treatment people need and getting them into the correct institutions and finding them the correct resources. She's, talk about someone in the trenches and hands-on. She's just wonderful.
Excellent. And I can just say from a public health department perspective, and again, I'm always talking about how proactive we are in our courts, with the problem-solving courts, with the treatment and the job training that goes on in the sheriff's department at the jail. It's really exciting in Kane County, I think, how proactive we are on all these things. So one question I have process-wise with the resolution, and I believe it impacts the change that we just passed. Do we want to put a not to exceed number on any of these projects? And this is just something for us. Is there value in that? And I'm happy if people spend less than a not to exceed, certainly, but I just wonder in terms of budgeting if that's valuable or not.
So my ideology when we first met on this last month was that I wanted Ms. Ost to take that cap off of it, just because number one, there's a lot of duplication, or could be a lot of duplication of efforts between what goes on in the jail and our reentry services and what they're doing through court services. We do have a great working relationship, and we are actively working on making it even better. And if you don't sit through the Judicial and Public Safety Committee meetings, it's an incredible team that gets a lot of good stuff done. So my suggestion to Ms. Ost was take that cap off, just come to us for reimbursement. We know what court services do, they know what we do, and we trust them to be able to spend appropriately to take care of these people that are the most marginalized in our community.
And I think to the point of what Mr. Isaacson is saying, or Chair Isaacson, I don't want to decrease your
Right,
power
yeah.
here. So
Thank you.
is that if for the rest of us or the community wants to come for money and we know that up to 500,000, just throwing a number out, is budgeted for this, then we would know to approve as a committee that we could give 100,000 to somebody else because we have that. So I understand your point because we have to be the budgeters of this. And because none of us went into this field to do anything to do with math, we're probably going to want to err on the side of being cautious with that. Thoughts, Lisa, from your perspective?
Yeah, Lisa, do you have an annual projected cost of what these services would be, either historically or projection moving forward?
Yeah, so for drug court, of all of the drug court participants, about a third have diagnosed opioid addiction issues. And so that's why I presented that one memo last month outlining that for drug court alone, we spent about 350,000 on treatment for all of the participants last year. So with about a third being opioid related, I would anticipate maximum a third of that cost on an annual basis. I will also say that another part of my thinking in removing the cap is that we applied to the federal, we had a federal fund that did have some funds that we were not able to fully expend. They have allowed us to roll that over, and it's just over $100,000. So I might not even come back to this committee for additional funds for another 5 to 6 months because I'm obligated to use those funds first. So I fully anticipate that the amount that I would come back to this committee would probably not exceed 100,000 on an annual basis.
Other thoughts? I mean, I'm still wondering from a budget, like we probably should submit a budget for this because it's just an open fund now. So I just don't want to over allocate is my concern if we have open-ended projects. So I don't know. I would look if there's any other, and not looking to artificially compress anybody's project requests, but just to make sure that I don't, with the state's attorney Monster, I said, I don't want two people to come if we have $500 left and we have two $500 invoices. I don't want to be in that situation. I'd rather be able to allocate it because that's how simple my math brain is too. It's pretty.
Well, the way
simplistic.
I totally understand you, Michael. The way I read this is that she's going to use it as a reimbursement to her budget. So it's not that we're allotting $300,000 a year to court services. It'll just be a quarterly reimbursement to them. So I think we're safe in that regard and leaving it the way it's written. And it allows them some flexibility. But if you really feel a need for a budget, I totally understand that. If you'd rather see it go that route.
I mean, I'm open to what the rest of the group thinks. Yeah.
I'm open either way.
Okay. Okay.
I just say this to kind of throw this out there for you all to think about. Open-ended can always lead to problems. If she's telling you there's an amount that she thinks that it'll be, you can put in a resolution, basically that amount for that year. She can always come back and ask for more. That is a very easy thing that we can do. Once you leave it open-ended, however, the horse is out the barn. And I don't think that would ever happen, but as just a mechanical process and the way it's done kind of traditionally in King County is you have a budget that is specifically allocated through the resolutions. And if you want to make a change to amendment to the budget, that can be done. You guys are meeting monthly, so this wouldn't be a problem. And especially if we're allotting an amount sufficient for almost a year, you would know way in advance if you need more. So something to think about. As far as process and kind of tactics on the way that usually is handled.
So Lisa, your original ask for was 350 annually? Was that the last resolution?
Yeah, the last resolution was a transfer of 350,000 with the understanding that it would only be applicable for opioid users. So we would essentially, we would keep track of that and not come back to this committee until that 350 was expended on that population.
And that would be an allotment or that would be the reimbursement? Like
That would have been an allotment, but
Okay.
I'm happy to do a reimbursement as well,
Okay.
because I do want to make sure I maintain good relationships with my vendors by making sure to pay them in a timely way.
Absolutely. So can Hayne make an amendment to this resolution to say a cap of $350,000 annually? I'm sorry, a reimbursement of up to $350,000 annually is what we're looking for.
Yes, so just make, instead of a question, say it affirmatively. If somebody has a second, then you're good.
John, I'm going to take you outside in a minute.
I support that.
Hayne makes a motion to institute a cap of $350,000 in reimbursement to court services for this purpose.
Mosser seconds.
Any discussion?
May I just want to add one more thing explicitly, which is by including the entire specialty or treatment court, all of the problem-solving courts for the 16th Judicial Circuit, part of the settlement did state, that continuing education for how to work with people with opioid addictions is also a very valid use of those funds. And so as we move forward, there are many national trainings and local trainings, and I'm encouraging that all of the departments in the justice system should be able to send their employees to those kinds of trainings. I've included that kind of language in the resolution, so just making sure that that's out there as well.
Excellent. Noted.
One question. Would this model be similar to what the DUI task force does? With the reimbursement?
Having been the chair of the DUI task force, yes, it is pretty much exactly the same. She's going to be paying and then we'll reimburse her.
Great. So we have a motion and a second to put a $350,000 cap on to make a change to the resolution. Any other discussion?
Kane,
Hayne, yes.
Mosser,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Isaacson.
Yes.
It is amended.
All right, great. Congratulations. This is exciting work. So it'll still be on.
So
Oh,
now,
that's just the
so
amendment.
now,
Okay.
now you've done the amendment, now there needs to be, you already have a motion and a second. So now if you're ready for discussion, you can do a roll call as amended.
Okay. Is there any additional discussion? All right, roll call as amended.
Kane,
Amazing, these meetings only take 6 hours. It's hard to figure out.
Mosser,
Okay, you got it.
Mosser, yes.
Russell, Strathman,
Yes.
Isaacson.
Yes.
It passes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Great. No, this is a great program. Very exciting. So thank you for that. Our second project that's come through this committee. So that's great stuff. And I think now going back to item A, discussion on the internal process, I think now we've laid out what the process is going to be. We have clear criteria from the settlement agreement. So if there's internal projects that people are bringing forward, it'll be based on a reimbursement. Based on practice that we've just laid out, it'll be based on reimbursement. We'll put a not to exceed amount with a budget in there so we can put that together. And I think we'll be in a good place with that. Does that make sense to the committee? Okay, very good. And I think maybe we'll put a simple one pager out. My office can send around a one pager that outlines it and has a link to the settlement so that people make sure they understand what that is. All right, I don't think there's a need for executive session. Any additional public comment?
Only one that I can think of. One of the things we want to do at the lab is also, I know that you have to do a lot of drug testing. And I'm sure that you send that out now somewhere. We hope to hopefully be a point to where we can do that in-house for you. I think that would be a great thing.
I would love that. That's wonderful. And yeah, that would really facilitate much quicker turnarounds on those tests.
Excellent. And the chair recognizes State's Attorney Mosser. I believe she has a comment.
She does not.
I'm really proud of very fast committee meetings like this one.
Hold on a
Are
second. Did you confuse me and the sheriff right now?
you done?
No, you're here.
So we've had a lot of conversation about the Bill Foster grant as it pertains to the things that we're doing here and the crime lab at the sheriff's office. I think Ms. Gums has a bit of an update. I had asked her to go direct with the lobbyist because she had a meeting with them. So
Great.
if you don't mind, Michelle, would you?
I do, Gums here. So as it currently sits, the full amount is not being approved. So it'll be more like 1 million. However, we've got earmarks opened and we are working on resubmitting and expanding that reach. And it looks very good.
I just think that's really important as it pertains to this committee and these funds, because we're kind of trying to balance a couple different projects between those two things. So
Yes.
thank you for that. I
It's
appreciate
it's
it.
actually a very exciting, when I was there with the lobbyists in Washington and meeting with all the legislators, it was a very exciting conversation with them, because it's so regional. It's not just us, it's regional, and then you guys are gonna be, I mean, it's amazing. And after that engagement in Washington, I got calls from all over the country about what it is that we do here. So the legislators are very excited about it.
Excellent. That's why I was very excited in the beginning, why, I had the office write the grant, because I think it's very well needed here.
Absolutely.
Very good. Any other discussion? All right. 10:23. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
All right. Corner Russell second. All right. Thanks, everybody. So we'll see you next month.
All in favor, say.
All in favor?
Aye.